So, hello everyone. Today for the group project presentation for the SRD, here is my group members, Muhammad Khairul Ipuan bin Muhammad Yusuf, Muhammad Sharif Kamil bin Saifuddin, Johan Helen Latin, which is me, and also Natasha Shafika binti Najibuddin. So, let us start. So, in the next slide, we will see the list of the content in the slides. So first off, we will talk about the static testing. So next slide. Okay. Okay. So first off, we are going to be talking about the defects using the static technique. This static technique is going to be covering the entire entity relationship diagram for this project. So first off, we will be talking about the defects or what is not correct about the ERD. So first of all, the schedule table does not have a unique identifier. This is going to be quite problematic in the side of the hospital if they ever intended to set a unique schedule for each person. So next off is the schedule table will need to have a relationship with appointment table for the appointment date and time. So in our ERA, there's no relationship between the schedule table and also the appointment table. This means that the attributes in the appointment table will also be having date and time instead of just putting it in the schedule table. Next off is the treatment table. The treatment table should include an attribute to having the illness that the to describe the illness that the patient is having. This is useful to collect info about various treatments for various illnesses, um, so that the doctors wouldn't get confused about which treatment is which or for each illness. In the hospital table, since our requirement will need a status to show if the current hospital is currently available or not. This will help if um, if the hospital is currently undergoing construction, which will be really problematic for the side of the user if they intend to select a hospital that is currently under construction or currently just not available. So this attribute would help a lot in the side of the user. So in the table appointment, the attribute called the appointment status could be also showed for the patient's appointment. This is going to show the status for the appointment if it is approved or not. This will help in letting know that the patient if their appointment has been approved, because we do not want the patient to have second thoughts about if their appointment is approved or not. Lastly, in the hospital table, they needs to include um, an attribute for the rating of the hospital. This rating of the hospital is important to let the users of the app know the service of the if the service of the hospital is good enough or if it is bad enough. This will save a lot of time for the users of the hospital if they want to find a quality hospital. So after the defects, we will then talk about the solutions to each one of these defects. So next slide, please. In the solutions for the static technique, for the slide before, we'll then be adding a schedule ID attribute to set as a unique identifier for each schedule. This will be useful in actually creating our database to help know which schedule is which. So the second one, which is that the doctor's schedule and the appointment schedule, or the doctor's schedule and the appointment table needs to have a one-to-one relationship. This is because a doctor will be able to receive one appointment from each one of the patients. So that is why we need a one-to-one relationship between the doctor schedule table and the appointment table. The third one, we need to create an illness info attribute to describe the illness that the patient is having. This is going to be useful for the doctors to have a starting idea about how to treat their patients based on this illness info attribute. The next one is the attribute name hospital status, which could be created to show the status of the hospital. The hospital status attribute will be showing only two values, either available or not available. This is useful to save time for the customers or the patients, but which hospital is available or not. In the appointment status attribute for like the next solution, it is important for the patients to know that if their appointment has been verified or not and has been accepted. So for the last solution to our defectives, an attribute named rating is then added into the table. This rating is added into more specifically the hospital table. This will be used by the patients to determine which hospital has a better rating that is also close by. So that is all from me in the solutions for static technique. I will be passing it to my next groupmate, Natasha Shafika.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Natasha Shafika, and today I will be presenting the dynamic techniques. Okay, so first off, we have the defect, which is users are unable to search for hospitals based on their diseases. So the solution for that is to create a feature to search diseases to display a list of specialists along with the hospital, which means that once a user wishes to search for a hospital, so the patient starts typing in their disease. So for example, it's like chickenpox, for example. So it also shows like what doctor that specializes in that and the hospital that's available in. For the next defect, users are unable to rate the service of the doctors. So the solution for that is to create a pop-up for the users to rate the service on a scale of 0 to 5 stars and a review text field. The pop-up should appear after every appointment, which means that after every appointment, it will come off a pop-up that shows whether to rate the doctors and also write down the comments needed. For the next defect, the application does not have a feature to state the distance between the current location to the hospital. And the solution to that is in the hospital list GUI, the distance between the patient's current location and the hospital should be added under the hospital name, which makes it easier for the patients to select their hospital. Next. Okay, for the fourth defect, the application does not show if the doctor or specialist is unavailable. So the solution for that is after clicking the info button, the availability of the doctor or specialist will be added. So this makes it more easier for patients to, if let's say a patient is in an emergency to find a doctor, the patient can know whether the doctor is available or not. The fifth defect is the application does not display the public holidays and operating hours. And the solution is to add a display of the public holidays and operating hours of the hospital on the calendar when the patients or users schedule an appointment. For the sixth, the application does not have a navigation system. So the solution to that is to create a navigation page which acts as a GPS to guide users to the hospital destination. This makes it easier so that the patients do not have to go to a separate app and type in the hospital destination. If they wish to go to the hospital, you could just click it and you take them to a navigation page. Okay, next. Okay, last but not least, the defect is once the appointment is scheduled, the user is unable to edit their booking. So the solution to that is to create an edit button to allow users to make changes to their appointment, which if they wish to change their date or their day, or if they wish to change their or cancel their appointment, they can click the edit button. Okay, that's all from me today. We shall move on to our next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Khairul Ikhwan, and I will be present about the design quality. Design quality is the software quality measure how well the software is designed and how well the software conform to that design. For the design quality, our project, we choose the usability. Usability can be described as the capacity of system to provide a condition for its user to perform the task safely, effectively, and efficiently while enjoying the experience. For usability in our requirement is usability can be shown in the appointment booking section. User can choose the date for booking without having to worry about the book date is already full. Second, we choose design quality efficiency. Efficiency means is the state where the application can accomplish to make something without waste the time, effort and cost, which means the performance of the application must be in a competent state. For efficiency, our requirement is efficiency can be shown where user input their location in searching hospital or their specialist or doctor. System will show the all list of doctor or specialist near to their location input. And for the lastly, our design quality we choose is maintainability. Maintainability can be described as the system can maintain to correct the error or defect and prevent unexpected faulty. In our requirement, maintainability is the system is able to display a list of hospitals together with the case that could be handled by this hospital. If the apps encounters an error condition, the system will ask for the user to refresh the page. Okay, that's all for me. I will pass to the next presenter, Sharif Kamil.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Syafie Kamal bin Saifuddin. I will be presenting about the anticipated change that might occur. So the first one is the usability, and as for now, the current requirement may not have enough non-functional requirement that is required for our system, because currently we only have like 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken, for the non-functional requirement. So as a solution and the anticipated change, we can create more alternative functionalities and have discussion on which function is suitable to be implemented. The functionalities will be centered around the user experience on using the application. And then the current system might not working as intended because of bugs and errors. So for the solution for that, we would make various testing to make sure the application is working as intended without any errors. Basically, we will make continuous checking on the code and the functionality of our system so that it is working as intended And we also will provide a simple tutorial for the new users after they download the app. Next slide. Next slide is the maintainability. The original implementation may be problematic, such as poor performance, poor backup solution, difficult to troubleshoot, and would cause large traffic in the server. So the anticipate change is we can use reliable mobile frameworks such as Flutter and React Native, which is easy to use and speed up our development time. This will give our programmers enough time to make improvement on their performance and troubleshoot errors would be easier as this framework is easier to understand. Next, we have to make backup database and server just in case if our system broke down. Next. The last anticipate change is the efficiency. Our original prototype do not have many quality of life features, so we can add additional functions such as search hospital based on disease or improve our GUI by adding how far our location to the hospital. Additional quality of life like this would definitely minimize the time spent for the user to search for hospital, especially on emergency. Next slide. The last one is the design quality to be prioritized. So for our group, we choose the usability. This is because the first reason is we can identify changes required to improve the functionality of the system. The next reason is we can make sure the system is working as intended without bugs and errors. And the last one, we can understand on the user's perspective on how well the function in the system work, such as how easy it is to book an appointment, or are there any unnecessary step to book an appointment. We also emphasize on the user interface such as navigation and the familiarity, which is the consistency of the interface. We also will need to make sure that there are no errors when using our system, which is also the part of the usability. And by having a good user-friendly system, it will give our user a high satisfaction and higher degree of acceptance. So that's all from us. Thank you.